Hey guys, it's the Brownbag talking sports here again to talk about the NBA final. These past two games have been really good. The last game, not so good for the Raptors, but we'll get into that after I give my thoughts on game one. Toronto did a really great job defending the Warriors. Golden State didn't play bad, they kept it very close, but they just didn't have that third quarter run that they usually go on. On the offensive side of Toronto, the role players stepped up. While Kawhi contributed, Golden State did a really good job making sure that he didn't go off for any crazy stat line. But it seemed like they weren't paying much attention to Siakam, who had finished with 32 points in his first ever NBA Finals game. When I said the role players need to step up, this is what I was talking about. Now, of course, Siakam isn't going to have 32 points every game, but it was really good to see when the star player wasn't having a great game, the role players could fill his spot. And the same went for the rest of the team. Lowry didn't have a great scoring game. He only finished the game with 7 points, if I remember correctly. But his defensive presence was felt. He was hustling all over the court, and while he didn't do much on the offensive side, he did do a great job of drawing charges. All in all, game one was a really good game for Toronto. It was a statement win. Game two, on the other hand, this is where Toronto kind of dropped the ball. Now, I will say that Toronto didn't have a horrible game. They kept it close, and near the end especially, they showed a lot of fight when they could have easily just lied down and gotten blown out. But they did fight. But there were a few reasons why they lost game two. It's understandable that the Warriors were more competitive in the second game. They had time to make adjustments. They familiarized themselves with the playstyle of Toronto. I could get a more closer game. I wasn't expecting them to blow out Golden State in the second game. I mean, the first game is sometimes even the first two games is more of an adjustment period for the opposing team. Like Toronto can attest to that. They had trouble against Milwaukee those first two games, but those next four, they tightened up and they won against them. But here's what I don't understand. An 18-0 run at the beginning of the second half of the games. That's inexcusable. That's downright embarrassing. I mean, Toronto did an amazing job defending against that third quarter run that the Warriors were known for. That third quarter run that completely destroyed Portland. But this game, they just fell victim to the third quarter run. I mean, for that to happen on your own home court is just that's just inexcusable. I mean, it was just painful to see. Another thing that killed Toronto near the end was that wide open shot that Iguodala had. Now I can understand that Toronto didn't take Iggy too seriously on the 3-point line. I mean, he was dealing with injuries this postseason, and you'd expect him to maybe kind of dribble out the clock. Maybe I'm alone on this, but here's my thought process behind this. Warriors had 5 seconds left on the shot clock, and Iguodala just, instead of trying to dribble it out or maybe pass it around, he just takes the wide open 3-point shot. I mean, if he had missed that could have really hurt the Warriors. The score was 106-104. If Toronto had rebounded, they had one timeout left. They could have had a timeout and set up for either a game-tying shot or a game-winning shot. That wasn't smart decision-making by Iguodala, but nevertheless, he made it, so, I mean, can't really criticize them too much for that. But back on Toronto's side, I can see not taking them too seriously on the 3-point line, but there were like 4 guys that were at least in the vicinity of the paint area. Are you telling me that one of you guys couldn't have maybe went out there to contest the shot and left the other 3 Raptors inside the paint to try and get the rebound? Maybe I'm not seeing something, but when I look back, it just, I feel like somebody should have went up there to at least try and contest them, because he even waited for a second because he was shocked that he had so much space. But that was it. That was a heartbreaker for Toronto, especially after that Danny Green shot. Shouts out to Danny Green. Even though Toronto lost this game, when it mattered the most, he hit the shot. On a side note, Lowry being in foul trouble, fouling out before that final possession, that didn't really help things. If Lowry was on the field or was on the court, I feel like his hustle could have brought a different energy. Probably could have brought a little intimidation, but guess we'll never know. Now Toronto is in they're in a difficult position. The series is tied 1-1, and they're going back to Oracle Arena. Considering that Klay Thompson is out due to injury, and there's no word on whether KD will be back for Game 3, I think they can definitely steal Game 3. But they have to keep their heads on, because winning an Oracle is no easy task. I know they've won an Oracle in the regular season, but the crowd energy is just going to be on a whole nother level. I mean, this is the playoffs. Like I said in the last video, this is big. This is a whole nother beast. But as long as Toronto keeps their heads on straight and they play their hearts out on all 4 quarters, I feel that they can easily, not easily, but I feel like that they can steal Game 3. It's going to be a fight to the death, but I think they can do it. This team has been through a lot, and they haven't come this far to fail now. Yeah. But that's going to do it for me, guys. Thanks for listening. So, until next time, Brownbag signing out. Come on, Toronto. You got this. Let's go.